Hello. So I don't usually wear a lot of makeup. The most I'll do is my brows, maybe eyeliner, mascara, and chapstick. So during quarantine, I was determined to find that 15 to 20 minute, very simple, very beginner makeup routine that would work for me. And this is what I've come up with. First are my brows. I just use a little bit of Stevens hair wax. I do like the whole eyebrow wax trend. They just make your brows look really, really fluffy and set. And I did find that the trick to keeping them nice and fluffy is to have your eyebrows short and trimmed. Because when usually I don't keep my eyebrows up, I just go through a pencil. But now that I've been using wax, I find that the shorter they are and the more trim they are, they don't start to flatten out or weigh heavy as the day goes. So I start with just a little bit of hair wax and then fluff it upwards and outwards, kind of like at a diagonal. Again, this is very simple, very amateur, not a professional at all. But let me know if you guys have any fun tips and tricks for beginners like me. Once that's a little fluffed out, I use the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. I think this is a neutral brown. And I like to work with like a little handheld mirror. So I hold it up this close and I go to the very bottom there. I trace a line, fluff it up in the direction, same direction of my brows, and then go for the tail. I don't know how some people spend like more than 3 minutes on their brows. I like a more natural look. And then I fluff this part up at the top. That's it. That's like literally it. Take it to this side. So I do that bottom part first, and then I fill upwards. And I don't like overfill because I don't want it to be like so dark. Again, natural. And then I do the tail. And then I comb it out. Comb it out first, spread that product around, and then I fluff it up. Done. Okay. Now, here are my tips for working with flat, thin Asian lashes. I don't have extensions. I've gotten them once, but I just couldn't keep up with them. And I think I've really figured out the way to make the most out of your flat, thin lashes. First things first, clear eyes, clear eyes. I noticed like when I see people with really nice lashes or eye makeup, their eyes are really, really white and bright. So I do know that this makes a difference. Okay, so tip number 2 is you need a small handheld mirror and a really good set of eyelash curlers. I actually put this in the search box. I put best eyelash curler for Asian eyes or almond eyes, and this one came up, and it's so good. Got it from Amazon. So now you hold the mirror up really, really close, and you start to curl from the very top, tip of the lash to the base, and you just do little crimps all the way from the tip of the lash to the base. And you want to make sure like that the lash doesn't like curve inwards towards your lids, but rather like out and upwards. Practice, practice, practice. So you really just gotta get in there. You can start with a tip, few pumps here and there. Make your way through to the middle of the lash. And then once you get to the very base, give it a really good crimp. A few pulses. Now my lashes are already lifted in comparison to the other side. And on some days when I don't have time to put like any mascara or anything like that, at least curl your lashes and it'll wake you up a little bit more. The second tip, and this is super, super important, is to use waterproof mascara. I've used all kinds of brands of non-waterproof mascara, and they all just flatten out my lash and they just weigh them down a lot. It has to be waterproof, and I've tried different brands of waterproof mascara, and they all have like the same effect, just like that quick dry effect that seals in the curl right away. This is Voluminous Lash Paradise in just black. It has to be waterproof. It just does. Okay, now I usually find myself doing this. I like set my pinky down, and then it's just like it holds placement for when I bat my lash down as I brush my wand up. Okay, that way you're not just like a free hand, you're a little bit more stable. So brush up as you bat the lash down into the brush. And then you can also like rotate that brush a little bit as you go. I do find that this tiny mirror helps so much. Just gotta get in there. Do your best to like fan it out, but don't worry, we have another tip for that coming up. The lashes are probably like the longest part of this, of my routine. Okay? So, there. Then, I just go to the very tip of the lash and I bat that tip down. Really nice. Kind of tapered out all the clumps. Okay, let that dry. Let that dry, move on to the next eye. We'll come back to it. So, eyelash curler, get in there. Very tip of the lash first, lightly. If you get like a bad eyelash curler, they just, I mean, it doesn't curl as well, of course. This one is really nice. Okay, then when you get to the very base of it, give it a few good crimps, seal it in. Okay. Waterproof mascara, bat down, brush up, pinky placed, stable hand. Bat down, brush up. Sometimes I'll flutter my lash down to really get the bristles to come through. Fan it out as best as you can. And then just the tip. Just the tips to taper out all the clumps. Spread the lashes out even more. I have a very lazy right eye, so I always end up with mascara on the lid. Let it dry, don't touch it. If you get mascara on your lid, just let it dry and then you can flake it off once it's dry with like a dry spoolie or a Q-tip. Okay, next tip, tweezers. And you want these like tapered kind of tweezers because we're gonna go through and comb through your lashes very carefully. It does require a little bit of practice, but you wanna get in there again and then just comb it out. Again, you can use that like bat down, brush up. Motion. There's a little clump here, so I just take that off with my fingertips. The very, very edge. And you just wiggle that tip through. Okay. Oh, you also have to make sure that your lash is kind of dry for this because I've done it with like right after the lashes or I applied mascara and it was way too wet and it just gets really messy. So wait till it dries just a little bit while you do the other eye. Again, getting in here, brushing up and out even. And like if you really want to like, again, this is to make the most out of your very thin, flat eyelashes. You could use like an eyelash comb, but if you really want to get the fullest, fluffiest lashes, go with the tweezers and really get in there and separate each lash. I think I read somewhere that like Audrey Hepburn, it was either Audrey Hepburn or J.Lo, had their own lash specialist that would fly out with them, and they would take safety pins, like very sharp safety pins, and separate each lash for them. I don't know why Audrey Hepburn or J.Lo, I really don't remember who it could have been. Okay. Next tip, eyeliner. I use the e.l.f., I think this is called like Expert Eyeliner. And it's one of these liquid liners with the tip. It's like little hairs. Again, I'm an amateur. And I just like to do, because again, I have a really lazy right eye, on days that I want to go like my version of full glam, I'll do the full cat eye from the very inner corner of my eye to the very outside, but on just like for a 15-minute daily routine, I do what's called a kitten eye, and I just go to the very edge here. And I like this expert liner because it's so thin, and I just fill out the outermost edge. That's it, like the most simple. Then you have to go underneath and hit that waterline, I think they call it. Very, very carefully. I've gotten the ink or the makeup in my eye before, and I'll just take a tissue and blot that out, and then put another drop of Clear Eyes on at the end. But the faintest kitten eye. You kind of insert this wand behind the end and then draw it out. And then go under. You gotta go under. That's where like you kind of clean up the mascara. Okay. Final tip is to take like your pinky or your ring finger and then really go to the very edge of that line and draw it out a little bit, fade it out a little bit. Makes it look really, I don't know, really nice to me when it's faded out like that. Not so sharp. Okay. And my lashes are done. And they hold up so well, so well. Now, if it's like a special event or something and I really want them to pop, I'll take my eyelash curlers. Once they're really dry, go to the very base of the lash, pump them up, and then take your mascara again and just go from like halfway and up the lash to really define them out. But again, this is just like everyday quick easy lash, and that's done. I'm out of breath because of this baby. Okay. Now, I don't use foundation. I just don't know how. I don't really know how to contour, but I do the very most basic contouring, I guess you would call it, with these 3 brushes and these 2 thingies. Okay. So this brush is what I start out with. I don't know, it's like a flat angled brush. And then this is Physicians Formula Bronze Booster. I love this color. I hate this one. This is like matte. It's weird. I think it's supposed to be the highlighter. I don't use highlighter anyway. It just does not look good on me. But this bronzer is really pretty. And then this middle color is like a really cool toned, and at first I hated it. I didn't know how to use it. 1, 2, I just do like 2, 3 taps, tap that out. But now I really like it because it's cool toned. It kind of cancels out like the scarring that I have from this, like the crazy pregnancy acne I had for the first 6 months of my pregnancy. It's finally clearing up, so there's like a little bit of scarring, but before it used to be like red, and this would cancel it out just a little bit. Now I just think of it as like a shadow color. I don't know. Okay, so I just take this and I angle it downwards, right? And then I pat it on first, pat, 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 right there, like where my sideburn is. And then I bring it in, like that. Again, I just think of this as shadow color. I don't know. Again, 2 or 3 pats, tap, 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 tap. And then I kind of gray out my scarring. And then I bring it in from, like, here's my sideburn. If I drew it in, just there. Okay. Then I take this fluffier angled brush and I take the bronze one, this bronzy one. I like this one a lot. I do about 3 or 4 of these, tap it off, and then I angle this one downwards. Again, I don't know if this is right, but this is just what I figured out works for me. I angle it downwards, and then I first pat some down here and up here and then down here. So you know that number 3 they always talk about with contouring. So I pat some down here, pat some down here, and then I brush it out here first. And then I'll come back and I'll angle this way. And then I go up and around, up and around, up and around, up and around, up and around. And kind of like blend that into the shadowy color. Then I go in here and I really get that into the hairline. Up, under. I know I'm going fast, but it's still like this, like up, oh, up and around kind of motion. Okay. I also learned too, like, it all comes together when I didn't realize that like you're supposed to let your makeup like sit on you for a little bit and it all comes together, especially if it looks like, if you think it looks crazy at first, if you're not used to wearing a lot of makeup. Like for my wedding makeup tutorials, I was just like, I just look so different. But if your makeup artist puts it on you right and you let it sit, then it'll all come out. Okay, so I put this on first and then I brush this on. Further. And then I angle this one downwards and I brush up and in, up and in, up and in, up and in. So my baby hairs. Then I come up here and I give y'all a go. That's it with this guy. Again, that's the Highlight and Contour Palette Bronze Booster Matte Sculpting Palette by Physicians Formula. Then this is also Physicians Formula, and I actually stole this from my mom. It's a powder palette with Mineral Glow Pearls in Bronze Pearl. And looks like that. And I take the fluffiest brush now, the fluffiest round brush, I guess they call it, and I load that shit up. Now, go right here. I think this is called the apple. And I go, so for the bronzer, I would go this way. Now for this, I'm gonna go this way in the opposite direction, starting from the apple of the cheek. I go really, really small, really, really small, and then I blend all of it in. All of it comes together. And this really, like, I feel like blends it all in nicely. Because it has a little bit of bronzer, it has a little bit of highlight, it's pearly. Then I go right here where you would imagine you'd get sunburnt. I also like to fluff up my lashes with this brush. And then I go right here. Yeah. Just go, get in there. Swirl it up. Okay. And that's it. So my bronzer, I was going inwards. This time I'm gonna go outwards, starting right at that apple, starting in slow, 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 and then slowly like getting bigger and bigger and bigger and sweeping it all in together, like all of it. And I like that it's a pearlized powder because it kind of works as a highlighter for me that doesn't like to use like a full-on highlighter. Let's get all up in there in big circles. Then right here, then right there. Fluff it up, fluff it up, fluff it up. Cool. That's it. Just makes you look like warm. Ooh. Cool. That's literally it. If you need to go in and touch up with like a little bit of pencil, and then I'm pretty much like done, and I'll just like, my lips are so chapped right now, load my lips up with chapstick. But if I did want to put on like lipstick for like a special occasion, this is the only combination I use. This is the combination that Karen used on me for my wedding. This is a MAC lip pencil in Spice, and the matte lipstick in Velvet Teddy. So it's just like this warm, bronzy, gingerbready, cozy look. I hope that helps. Try it out, especially the lashes. That's like what I'm most proud of. That just like really makes it for me. If anything, I'll do a quick brow. I'll always do this whole lash thing, and sometimes I'll even skip like the shadow and the bronzer and just go for these big circles and some chapstick. But all right, see ya.